You didn't plan to steal millions. You planned to return a broken blender. That's how it starts. Not with a crime, but with a glitch. A refund. A quiet moment where something doesn't add up and no one notices. You get the email. Refund issued. No return required. You still have the blender. You still have the money. And nothing happens. But here's the strange part. That silence doesn't feel like luck. It feels like permission. For weeks, it lingers in your head. Not guilt. Not fear. A question. Why did that work? You're 26. Stuck in a job that turns hours into dust. Numbers that don't match until they do. You fix discrepancies all day, and somehow, this one slipped through. And this is where it gets weird. You realize it didn't slip. It was allowed. Millions of returns flood the system every day. Checking each one costs more than losing a few. So the system chooses speed over certainty. Refund. Move on. Forget. But what happens if someone doesn't move on? That thought changes everything. You test it. Small at first. A speaker. A scale. A lens. Each time, the same result. Refunds. No resistance. No questions. But that's not even the craziest part. Nothing flags you. No warnings. No follow-ups. Just silence again. And now the question isn't, why did it work? It's something much more dangerous. How far does it go? You tell yourself it's just testing. Controlled. Logical. Temporary. But here's the strange part. You start building rules. One account. 30 days. Small amounts. Rotate categories. Never repeat patterns. You're not guessing anymore. You're engineering. And that's when things change. Because you stop seeing refunds. You start seeing a system. A system with gaps. Predictable ones. You track everything. Patterns emerge. Not in transactions, in behavior. And this is where it gets weird. The system isn't watching money. It's watching habits. So you change habits. New accounts. New timing. New narratives. And suddenly, you're invisible. But that's not even the craziest part. You realize something bigger. There's no connection between accounts. No shared memory. Each one exists in isolation. So what happens if you multiply? That question leads to a call. Derek, an old friend. Curious. Desperate. You tell him just enough. Not everything, but enough. He asks one question. How much? You answer. Silence. Then, when do we start? And just like that, it's no longer a test. It's a system with momentum. But here's the part no one expects. Momentum doesn't feel like risk. It feels like progress. The group grows fast. 8 people, then more. Each one plugged into a system you designed. But here's the strange part. It starts to feel legitimate. You assign roles. Set limits. Stagger timing. Rotate language. It looks organized. Controlled. Almost professional. And that's when things change. Because it works. Month after month. No flags. No disruption. Just growth. 40,000. Then more. But that's not even the craziest part. Your real job rewards you. A promotion. More access. Better data. And this is where it gets weird. You're now studying the system from the inside, while exploiting it from the outside. You see thresholds. Tolerances. Breaking points. So you adapt. Shift targets. Smaller sellers. Weaker defenses. Higher returns. The numbers triple. But here's the twist. The system you built starts looking better than the one you're exploiting. Cleaner. Smarter. More disciplined. You track everything. Audit everything. Control everything. And yet, something feels off. Because now the question isn't, does it work? It's something much darker. How long before it doesn't? At 500,000, you stop celebrating. At 1,000,000, you stop feeling anything. But here's the strange part. Nothing breaks. No alarms. No shutdown. No consequences. Just continuity. And that's when things change. Because the threat doesn't come from the system. It comes from inside. Mistakes. Overlaps. Greed. Someone pushes too far. Too fast. And suddenly, you see it. Not the flaw in the system, but the flaw in people. So you tighten control. Cut volume. Remove risk. It costs money. A lot of it. But you know something others don't. It's not the amount that gets you caught. It's the pattern. And this is where it gets weird. Even as you shrink the operation, it grows stronger. Cleaner. Smarter. Safer. The ledger crosses 1,000,000. And you feel nothing. No thrill. No fear. Just function. But that's not even the craziest part. You start asking a question you can't answer. Why does this feel exactly like my job? And that's when everything changes. Because now, it's not about the system anymore. It's about you. The email arrives without warning. 6 words. we should talk about the ledger. But here's the strange part. It's not sent to the system. It's sent to you. Personal, direct, precise. And that's when things change. Because someone knows. Not just the actions, the structure. The word ledger exists in one place. And now it's somewhere else. But that's not even the craziest part. You investigate. Quietly. Carefully. Everyone seems normal, except one. A delay. A shift in tone. A crack in the pattern. And this is where it gets weird. You agree to meet. A quiet coffee shop. Daylight. No drama. She's already there. Calm. Too calm. She slides a folder across the table. Inside, everything. Every entry. Every name. Every move. Perfect. And then the twist hits. It's not exposure. It's been observation. For months. From the inside. The ledger isn't just yours anymore. It's evidence. $2 million. Not as profit. As a charge. And here's the part that stays with you. You weren't reckless. You weren't careless. You were precise. Disciplined. Brilliant. And you used it to build something empty. So here's the question that doesn't go away. If you were this good at breaking the system, what could you have built instead?